Welcome everyone to the Money GPS. You came here for the truth. Today I've got an extremely jam-packed episode, even more than the previous ones I had done. We're going to talk about Russia. We're going to look at Ukraine. We're going to look at the banking system and how this could be very troublesome in this week right now as you're watching it. I'm going to get into all of it. I'm going to go as quick as I possibly can. The first thing I want to look at is the big boost that we've seen in oil and where the struggles have been. The second thing I want to look at is the order out of chaos. I'll show you all that. And the third thing is the rule of 55, and this is coming up right now as this video posts. So stay tuned. I've got all of that and more. Taking a look right now at what has happened with oil, you can see that the price has risen considerably. You look at WTI, $96 a barrel. Right overnight, prices surged up. Brent crude still over $100 a barrel as well. You see all of these commodities that have risen considerably, and oil is certainly one of those. Now, this right here is from Zoltan. You know, I've talked about him many times before. Right now, he's working at Credit Suisse. Previously, he was working for the New York Fed, and he had this to say about this current issue, because you've heard before that Russia's getting kicked off of SWIFT, or at least, some of that. But if it goes a little bit deeper, watch this. Exclusions from SWIFT would lead to missed payments and giant overdrafts, similar to the missed payments and giant overdrafts that we saw in March 2020. But watch, it gets even worse. Banks' inability to make payments due to their exclusions from SWIFT is the same as Lehman's inability to make payments to its clearing bank's unwillingness to send payments on its behalf. History does not repeat itself, but it rhymes. Understand who this individual is and what he is saying right here. This is extremely important. He's not saying, okay, markets open up and suddenly everything's going to be Lehman 2.0, but he is saying that this is effectively the same thing. So we are going to watch this very carefully and closely, and I will bring you all the details you need to know. So you got to stay tuned. You have this dollar surges versus almost everything on Ukraine conflict risks. The ruble plunged. I mean, it has just absolutely plunged right now. It was from 83 dollars 83 to the US dollar, and now it's something like 130, 170 by the time you're watching this. So there are extreme movements that are taking place today. Now, I want to show you really quickly move through these right now. This is a Bloomberg reporter, and he had a bunch of points to say, and there's a lot of articles in there. I'll only be able to touch on a couple of them because there's so much. We seem to be tail spinning into chaos. I have covered crisis before, but nothing even comes close. BP decided to take a hit on as much as $25 billion just to leave Russia immediately. It turns out not exactly the case, but I don't have time for that in this video right here. Russia's bond market is collapsing. Imagine the bonds are effectively worthless at this point, and that should give you pause to understand when you go and put your money into a bond or a company, you effectively are taking a big risk because you don't know if a geopolitical event is going to have an impact on you. You think, no, it's going to be able to pay its bills, whether it's a country or whether it is, bonds or whatever it might be. In that case there, we take it for granted that everything the way it was previously is going to be how it is tomorrow, but that isn't the case. Russians lined up at cash machines around the country to withdraw foreign currency. I'll show you more about that in a second. Unless there is a surprise de-escalation, Monday may turn out to be a dramatic day for the ruble, Russian stocks, and European markets. It is, in fact, already the case. And by the time you're watching the video, the markets on that side of the world have probably already gone through their turmoil. European Union closed its airspace to Russia, and also a bunch of other countries did that. The same situation here. They're talking about, this is the same article I was just showing you with Zoltan. The EU is going after the oligarchs and so on. Okay, this right now is something that is continuing. And why is Russia so important? Is it because James Bond movies have told us that we need to be focusing on this? No. Look, Russia is a major commodity producer. You can see the gas, oil, palladium, and it goes on, all these different things. Russian share of the global production, and for some of these things like palladium, 43% of the world. So it is significant. So we have to understand this. Their landmass is massive, resources, tons. And of course, they are partnered and positioned very strategically with China. China is growing, they got a voracious appetite for commodities, and you see the alliance there very clearly. I hope that I'm not going too fast for you. I have to get into all of this. You got to stay tuned. This is the Money GPS, and in this case, perhaps a little bit of the chart GPS too, because I'm going to show you the details you need to know. So let's continue. Energy and non-energy commodities account for 53% and 18% of total Russian exports. Look at crude oil. It's about 110 US billion dollars. Looking at all this, you see how important the exports are for Russia. And of course, other countries are buying that. So it does have an impact. Russia's foreign assets. You could see their foreign exchange reserves. Now, this is something that I need to discuss right here really quickly, okay? I think I will discuss it in a moment. I had so many things I was going through. Literally, probably about 6 hours worth of research today to bring this video to you, okay? Understand that if Russia has a bunch of illiquid assets, let's say they're gold, but they also have to look at their liquid assets. And could they be moving that around very rapidly, as we speak right now? Are they moving that? If they are, that could actually create reverberations in the market and cause chaos. Are they doing that? Not sure. I think it's going to be very difficult to simply just take an entire country's, liquid assets and move them $300 billion worth. But that is important, and I wanted to mention. Okay, so they do break it down here. You could see that for yourself. Okay, this is just showing you the pipelines, both gas and oil, how they move through Ukraine, but also different places, including the Nord Stream 2, which is now effectively dead. I just think it's important to see all of this, to see the connections and where this has been going from. You see that coming from east into the west, and now we're realizing, uh-oh, this is a big problem if the two sides are not exactly seeing eye to eye. This is just showing us what is going on with the EU. They're sending money, they're sending jets, they're sending all types of things over to Ukraine. So there's now kind of a proxy war, essentially, that's taking place at this time. Russia's central bank urges calm amid cash run fears. Oh, yes, the people are rushing to pull their cash out. Bank runs, right? Taking a look here, you could see the Moscow bank run. This happens to be one of them. They're going to the ATMs. They're trying to pull out cash. Here's another huge line for ATMs all over Moscow at 5 a.m. If they get sanctioned, are they going to be able to pull that cash out? What are they going to be able to do as a result of all this? Now, this is big. This is huge. Look at this. You see what's happening with SWIFT. You see the alliance. I mentioned that already. So you got me to this point? Okay, good. China can break SWIFT sanctions, but at a high cost. Expert says the CIPS payment system can replace SWIFT. That's a China-sponsored, entity essentially, for Russia trade finance, but could trigger US sanctions on Chinese banks. So if they go in this way and say, hey, Russia, you can start moving your cash this way, suddenly the US and the rest of the world might turn around and say, uh-oh, we're going to sanction you now. So I don't know if they're going to do that, but this is possible. I do believe that if China is able to move their business through these systems, that would give them the ability to go after Taiwan and not have to worry about what's happening with Russia right now. Because we know that they want this. They've made it public. It is very clear that they want Taiwan fully. And if they're going to go through with this, well then, what we're seeing with Russia right now could be, a beta test. I don't know how you want to use the term, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. Look at right here, the rule of 55. Back in 1929 and in 1987, 55 days from the peak to the crash. And we are right there, right now, at the time you're watching this video. Just because it happened on those two very, very big crashes previously does not in any way mean it's going to happen again. I just thought it was really, really interesting that it did happen these two previous times, and we're getting this real chaos happening right now. Now, of course, the markets can move down. Let's say Dow Jones down 500 points, even 1,000 points. Is it going to be another one of these cases here? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think those two instances, there was, some other stuff going on. But of course, you never know. Taking a look right here, I wanted to post this right at the end. I wanted to show you this. I give you this information, and I'm not here to tell you what to think. As with all of these other things, you notice that. If you've been with me for a while, you know I don't give a political opinion. I don't talk about these things and say you got to believe this or that. But I want to show you as much documentation as I could find. Like I said, 6 hours of research, you only saw, a few little articles and charts. But I also found this. And again, I'm not putting any bias or spin on it. I found it. I want to bring it to you. You have seen these images, I'm sure, of the president of Ukraine going around. He's saying he's fighting on the front lines. They show you some pictures. Well, it turns out those pictures, at least some of them, appear to be from last year. You can see that right here. Again, I don't know what's real. I don't know what's fake. I found this. I'm presenting it to you. And of course, you could do what you want with it. Okay, that's all. I don't have any comments to make about it. Literally, I'm just digging up all day long. I bring you the information, and that's it. I am hoping that we are seeing a de-escalation. There's supposedly some talks happening, but at the same time, I'm seeing, some way crazier news happening at all of this. I'm hoping there's a de-escalation, that we have peace and love. That's what we need. We need more peace. We need more love. And I'm just hoping that we see that right now for everybody's sake. We don't need chaos. We need growth. We need prosperity. We need humility, and we need honesty. And whether it's about this or just between people in general, I think we could do better with some more of that than what we're seeing right now. Chaos, unfortunately, only helps a select few. If you appreciate this video, hit that thumbs up button. When you hit that button, you support the channel. So I want to thank you very much for that. And I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.